Thank you for clicking play. PK Comic Book 411. Here's me trying to catch up. Pretty much 2 weeks behind. I'm going to fly through these and just give you a quick synopsis of what I felt and saw when I was going through these. Let's start off with DC and Forever Evil. Number 5. What I really appreciated about this is that it gave us a timeline. It said 48 hours after. So that sort of puts all the other ones in perspective. What I really like at the very end, there's a Doctor Who crack in time has found the bad guys. So they're going to reveal something as to what they were running from. Pretty cool. Justice League of America, number 12. It's still all about Stargirl, and is Martian Manhunter dead? Did Despero actually kill Martian Manhunter? We shall see. Justice League Dark, number 25. The Sea King returns. So it backs up the number 1 issue. It's the start of the Blight, and at the very, very end of this, it says, and you see the Trinity of Sin hanging right here, and it says, continues in Phantom Stranger number 14, Constantine number 9, and Pandora number 6. Then come back here next month as the war against the Blight leads Constantine and company into the Haunted Sea. Now, I don't know if that's a money grab, but that's a lot of different titles for me to add just to get to the Blight. Moving on. Rogue's Rebellion, number 5. You got to see how Atomica kills someone in this. And the Weather Wizard versus Johnny Quick, let me just say, people die. Trinity of Sin, Phantom Stranger, number 12. The reason why I wanted to get this is that, you remember, the Trinity of Sin is different than the Trinity of War, okay? But he was erased from existence because of a choice he took. So, you know, number 12 back. But the tie-in has Ultraman and the solar system. I like the tie-in, that there was the Ultraman and the solar system part of it. And, well, of course, he was supposed to be erased from existence, but he wasn't. I know I went through this in another issue of mine, and I just wanted to put it back up there so you know that it's in my pull list, as well as Power Girl is hot. Remember when I went through Harley Quinn number 0, and you could see all the different artists, and if you're a noobler like I am, well, actually it's been a year, you can see all the different types of arts. Well, just so you know, out of all these guys, right here, you have Chad. Chad Harden is now doing Harley Quinn. Here's Harley Quinn number 1. She gets her own pad, and she has a talking gerbil, and notice that the gerbil is drinking Jack Daniels through a straw. It's fun. I don't know if it's going to go on my pull list. So that's going to be it for DC, except I found these. Here's a DC Batman Spawn, and then there's an Image Batman Spawn. Anyone remember these? It's a little fun thing. Moving on to all of the non-Marvels. I'm going to start off with the Star Wars. The Star Wars. Important to have the in front of it. The Star Wars, number 0. And what the Star Wars is doing is taking George Lucas's original draft. And apparently he was doing a lot of drafts. Even throughout the movie's filming, he was changing things up. And I think that's probably why we have the brother-sister kissing. But anyway, here's number 0. It's basically definitions, art, and basically how they sort of corroborated between the draft that they're working on and the actual movie. And it gives you some, you know, pros and cons, differences, and comparisons. That's number 1. Hold on. That was number 0. And now we go to 3. Leo's now the Queen. Got General Luke and Anakin. Take her and C-3PO and R2-D2 to get off world. Then on 4, first appearance of Han Solo, and boy is he different, but it's what he wrote in his notes as to what Han Solo was supposed to look like. Han Solo's first appearance, Kane Star Killer. Well, I don't want to give anything away, but he gives away something very important for the mission. Now up to number 5. The escape of Prince Vorlon, the escape of the planet, and there's a fight in space, first fight in space as far as I'm concerned in the Star Wars. I really want to point you to this. It doesn't come out very regularly, but out of all the titles, I think this is my favorite art. This is my favorite art. Of all the titles, this is my favorite art. It's a good, very good balance between pacing and text, action and story. John Carpenter's Asylum. This is issue 3. One of my favorite titles is Sheltered. It is almost like post-apocalyptic, but it's more about prepping. The prepping involved is so killer that at the end, they actually give us like real-world prepping advice. And obviously, they're doing the research. So let me go through these 3 issues. Number 4, you got to read the letters in the back. You have to read the letters in the back about the dogs. It's excellent. And my question is if I were to get the TPB, are the newsletters in it? Not too sure. But if not, then I'm going to keep on collecting the single issues. Moving on to issue number 5 of Sheltered. It's almost like the original Red Dawn. The original Red Dawn, not the remake. It's almost like the original Red Dawn, but in reverse. The newsletter on this one is about Solar Storm. And remember everything that happens in each issue. I don't know about other titles why I can't really remember everything or the storyline, but everything in Sheltered I remember when I pick up the next issue. So here's number 6 of Sheltered. New arc. This is really becoming my favorite book. Backstory is wonderful, and the newsletter in this one is about global warming and the tides. Moving on to this. This is the first title that I didn't even read the last one. I watch the show and I get irked by the show, Comic Book Men, because they really don't talk about comics. They just really don't. They don't talk about, certainly not current ones, but sort of like yesteryear nostalgia. I don't like this at all. I don't want to do reviews or put my opinion on things, but I'm literally going to donate these back where I bought them. Here you go. Because I don't like that at all. Do other people like it? If you like it, tell me why you like it. Seriously, I want to know. Turok, my God, it's so good to see him back. You remember the game, the old Nintendo game? I think I read this with my brother. It's an ample backstory, fitting art, the ways of the natives. However, Knights Templar comes in, which puts a timestamp on it, around 1210 AD. That's interesting, because now you have 1210 AD and there's dinosaurs around. So I'm going to be excited to see where they take this. Shadowman number 9. Why did I get this single issue, since all Valiant, to me, is trade paperbacks? Number 9 is not in any trade paperback. They have like 1 through 8, and then they have the 0 issue. And remember, Shadowman is the horror, if you will, of Valiant. Number 0 and number 10 is done by Justin Jordan, who does the Strange Talent of Luther Strode. Haven't read it yet. But that's Justin Jordan. So number 0 and number 10, very good. This one, yeah, but it's not, doesn't exist in any TPB. My newest, favoriteest artist and title. I mean, just love this. I'll buy the TPB as well as the single issues. It's wonderful. I don't know why anyone wouldn't like it. Love it. The Saviors. It was supposed to be, and this is from the Image Expo, I learned about the Saviors. It is black and white. I thought it was going to be a little bit more Fear and Loathing. It's fun. Don't know if I'm going to continue with it. Another great title. I don't know why I like this. I like this so much. It's, am I into goth and I didn't know about it? But Coffin Hill. Get the TPB. It's so fun. I don't get it. I don't get why I like that so much. I think what they do is the reveal of everything is set out in each issue, that you get to learn what was happening by the further issues. It's a good reveal, I think, is the reason why I like it so much, not necessarily the subject matter. Going to Clive Barker's Next Testament. God gets bored. What do you do if you're a god and you're bored? Well, let's start a plague. Why not? He also finds a girl. That's nice. And is Tristan dead again? You never know. I dig it. It's Clive Barker. It's always, you know, God comes in and he's a dick. But he did point up and say something about brothers, which does imply, that's a very big, you know, bubble, that he's talking, God is looking up and talking up. That means there's other deities abound, does it not? The Maxx! Now, this is actually the same storyline, and it's just sort of like new colors and sort of redone. It still stands the test of time. Issue 2. issue 3, and issue 4. I'm loving it. It's great to read something that I already read and stand the test of time. I think it's really cool how that does survive. Manifest Destiny 1, 2, and 3. Now I got the third one in the Image Expo. People are really raving over this. I do think it's funny that they use Boniface as a name, and that is Shadowman. Jack Boniface is Shadowman. I can't really figure out what this Indian girl, the first mention of it, but she's definitely in here. I just don't know when she's mentioned first. Manifest Destiny. People are just digging this. Pretty Deadly. Rainbow Red Panda, I think, said it the best. Now this is Kelly Sue DeConnick, which is the wife of Matt Fraction. And to me, this is, that doesn't really work too well. To me, this is East of West, which is Jonathan Hickman, but a little bit more surreal. I think I enjoy it, though I can't really tell you what's really happening. But there's personification of death, etc. And they sort of draw this tapestry that is, you know, traveling, going to town and doing a performance, but it's actually going on in real life. And there's also talking anthropomorphization of skeletal rabbits and stuff. So again, East of West, but surreal. Of course, we have Saga. Best part about this is you get a little bit of Lion Cat backstory. And aforementioned East of West. It still delivers. It does. Really digging this. I'm very glad that I got the hard copy of East of West at the Image Expo. You can't buy these stores, people. Really, really cool. God is Dead. It's sort of what? What's going on? God is Dead. So I've mentioned this before. How you have, you know, the Aztecs and the Norse gods, and they're all battling. So that in itself, as a pitch, is awesome. But is Zeus really dead? You know, Zeus fights Odin. You want to see Zeus fighting Odin? God is Dead is your title. And now we have Loki versus Ares. I mean, how cool is that? And let's see. You have a human female that is now Gaia, and we'll see what happens with this, because now that the humans put in the godlike DNA, it seems like they're now going to be the only gods left, but there are once humans. So that's it in terms of non-Marvel. We're going to go to Marvel now. Hawkeye, number 16. I swear, it says Matt Fraction and Annie Wu, but it's really Annie Wu that's writing the story. A cool part of this is that a guy looks at a vinyl, like an old record, and can tell the piece of music it is. That's pretty sweet. This is number 16, and I believe that came out before 15, which is sort of odd. But I think that has to do with the writers switching. David something else did 15. Also, Lars Ulrich of Napster. There's sort of a jibe at him, the whole Napster and Metallica thing. Indestructible Hulk, number 18.INH. There is a little connection to Iron Man 20.INH. Remember I was talking about the bomb and whether that's going to go and carry over to other titles. There's a little bit mentioned to Iron Man 20.INH, which is here. And this is all about the Marvel rings, and as far as I'm concerned, that's Jeff Johns' Blackest Night and Brightest Day, and now Marvel's doing the same thing. It's almost a direct copy, but, you know, that happens. Iron Man 21, it's all about nation building and the Mandarin rings. There's only 3 so far, so. It does have an important ending in this one. I don't know if his brother, Arno, is dead. Amazing X-Men 3. This is when they're in heaven and hell. This one doesn't have Firestar. That's the reason why I'm reading it, is because of Firestar. She is in number 4. Kurt and Storm, yeah, they have a little love story going on here. Good action in this one. Origin 2. James Howlett. Is that always his name? That's very confusing to me. I thought it was Logan, but James Howlett is the name of the Wolverine. He's born under a different name in a rich family. There's no Project X and adamantium, nothing like that. Very savage. It's like Jungle Book and, you know, caveman raised by wolves. So I'm going to continue to read that one. A new one came out this week. Uncanny Avengers, number 16. Great fight scenes with Thor and Captain America. And is the Scarlet Witch dead? Well, she continues to be dead. Continues to be dead. Scarlet Witch. Avengers World, number 2. Hickman does it again. It's great. Really digging this. Captain Terra flashback. Wonderful, wonderful. The way that the art's done. Captain Terra flashback and life lessons given. It's wonderful. And is the AIM turning nice? Are they progressives? You know? Check out what happens to Smasher in the end of this. All New Invaders, number 1. It's the World War II group, but now it's present day. So you have the original Human Torch, and Namor, Winter Soldier, Captain America. It's fun. Don't know if it's going to be on my pull list. We'll see. Number 1 of Winter Soldier. It's very much a nod to Ian Fleming, James Bond, and it's Agent Fury, not Director Fury. So you know, it goes back in time a little bit, but it's almost like a spy novel that you watch. And hope that's not too bad right there. Captain America 15. I'm glad that I stuck with this title. I hated Dimension Z and it gave me a headache. And here's your jumping on point, number 1. He continues with the political story. It's very, you know, you have the rich slave labor camps. The rich are in slave labor camps, and that way making it very contemporary. You have communism here, and the soldiers return home. The art's just wonderful, colors and shading, and ends with a very strange villain. So moving on to this, Dimension Z being very much the horrible art. This is fabulous art. So it's from one end to the other. He has a new outfit. It's a very provocative panel. It's not he, she. She has a new outfit, very provocative. She's like, there's one on a steeple, right? And she has like sort of like a G-string thing on, and she like jumps onto the steeple. It's you know, if you don't have this on your pull list, you may want to get this one particular issue, just to see that for the guys, you know. Confusing at the end, you know, and my question is, does Red Skull have Professor X's brain like in Uncanny Avengers? I really want to know if that stems over to this Captain America. It's always hard to know, you know, if those storylines coincide. Number 1 of Loki. Now, the ending was a little bit confusing to me, but I was told that if you read all of Young Avengers, it's not going to be confusing. And I want to put across that Loki is not the god of evil. He's the god of mischief. And I hate it when they make him the god of evil. Sure, mischief could be evil sometimes, but that's not his role. So going back and forth, I mean, this is all from D&D, right? Pen and paper. And he's the god of mischief. Okay, having said that, they actually even reference a D&D manual. I mean, it says that literally in here. Gotta love that. So he's definitely talking about the mischief versus the evil in this. He's addressing that. This is Al Ewing, who also is doing another title. I'll come up in a second. And Al should update his wiki, by the way, because this is non-wiki. But halfway through, he says, you know, he's changed. It's not mischief, it's to evil. So I just love the reference to AD&D. I really do. We have Mighty Avengers 5 and 6. And the reason why I'm reading this is because of Adam Brashear, Blue Marvel. And let's see, number 5 doesn't have Blue Marvel. This is sort of filler, you know. She-Hulk stops Spider-Man. Wasn't I was at that point I was like, it's Inhumanity, but not. And then we go to number 6. This is sort of setting the scene. They're moving in, and Luke Cage and Adam Brashear have a little bit of a moment. Again, it's sort of something sort of needs to happen. Now we get into all the Superior Spider-Mans. Here's 25. It's Avengers versus Superior Venom, they take that Wolverine doesn't have healing power. Didn't really know where that was from. Then watched the movie, and then now I'm starting to understand. But I can tell, you can tell that it's coming to an end, the Superior Spider-Man arc, because Peter Parker is coming back. Amazing Spider-Man is coming back. So they're trying to wrap this up, and it gets to be very exciting because of that things are coming to a close. So then you go to Superior Spider-Man number 26. Peter Parker still alive in the Mindscape. If that's a spoiler, you need to know, because again, they're setting the scene for him coming back. And hobgoblin dies. I'm not going to say what that's about, but a hobgoblin dies. And the entire Goblin versus Hobgoblin is foreign to me. I don't know that. There must be a big backstory there. Then, a jumping on point for Superior Spider-Man is Goblin Nation number 127. Now. It does refer to Superior Spider-Man Team Up number 10. I didn't have it at the time, so I do think it's sort of cool when they forward con, not a retcon, but forward con to something coming up. I really did like this. The art on Brooklyn Bridge is fantastic. Must have taken the guy a day to do the Brooklyn Bridge. I mean, get this issue just for that. Fabulous talk at the table between Green Goblin. That this is a key issue to me, and no wonder why it's a dot now. So Superior Spider-Man Team Up number 9. Punisher and Daredevil in here are excellent. Though this isn't Yost, still doesn't disappoint. And at the end, this issue takes place between Superior Spider-Man 26 and 27. Why did they say that at the end? I just leave with that. I mean, why? New Avengers, number 14. Now, they did have a New Avengers. They had an Earth 23099. So now we get to see another one. It's Earth 2319. Yes, Earth 2319, and then they observe that, right, with their new bridge that they built. And you can see how powerful the map makers are in this one. But Doctor Strange is doing some big-ass, huge things. And that's the cool part of the storyline, is what Doctor Strange does. He's like, I ain't going to go to this book. Don't let anyone in. You know, I'm going to be doing some crazy stuff. So you get to see some of this here. It's very, very intriguing. Avengers 25. Hickman's still rolling. When it first began, it sort of reminded me of reading Crises. I mean, it's the way that DC had all the different multiple Earths. It seems like Marvel is doing that now. It's just Hickman's version of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Is sort of what's happening in the Avengers world. Avengers 26. Thor's actions. I mean, to me, this is almost like a Forever Evil storyline from DC. It's now another, Marvel DC similarity here. I mean, is Marvel going off of DC's playbook now? At least in those two issues. Now we have Edmondson in Punisher number 1. Don't have the backstory yet. Issue number 2 gives the backstory a little bit. But they sort of made it contemporary by doing drugs and cartels versus mafia bosses, etc. And if you're reading Black Widow, and apparently Black Widow is getting a lot of great press, to me those are very, very similar. The Edmondson writes for both of them. And the one thing I can say for Black Widow is that they're single arcs, single issue stories. And that to me is very important. When they start doing these 4-issue story arcs, that's when I'd rather have a TPB. We're almost done, people. Inhumanity number 2. I applauded Matt Fraction in issue number 1. This one I am not. I don't know. What is he doing? It's almost kiddie. I think Matt Fraction is spread too thin. He's doing too much image stuff. I don't think he's writing Hawkeye anymore. I really do think Annie Wu and the other guy, David something, is writing for that. I don't know. I think Matt Fraction is just a little bit too spread thin. Inhumanity, the Superior Spider-Man one-off. I just don't know why this needed to exist. This could have been any superhero, Captain America, whatever. I mean, insert superhero at your will. Just why? However, it is standalone. That I like. Inhumanity, Avengers Assemble. This is Kelly Sue DeConnick, Matt Fraction's wife, and Warren Ellis. So, how much is Warren Ellis involved in it? Is he the idea and she writes the script? Because I'm really looking into Warren Ellis. Don't know him too well, but he's doing Moon Knight, and that's my favorite dude. So, again, Wolverine in here is James Howlett. I just don't know what that's about. So, Wolverine. Oh yeah. In the back, when it gives a little synopsis, it says that Wolverine and Hulk school Spider-Girl. Hulk is not in this. That's a typo. And quite honestly, this is no longer a tie-in to Inhumanity, if you ask me. I mean, Avengers Assemble is usually the tie-in title. Yeah, it's its own arc now. Let's get into the last two. This is Thor, number 18. This is a single story arc, which I like. Jason Aaron applauded the art in this, and he would like to work with this artist at any time again in the future. I wasn't a fan. However, the last page I did like because it was a writer's letter, and it's a standalone story. It's fun. It's, you know, it's Thor and dragons. You know, you gotta love that. Last, Thor 19.now. Okay. Now Assad is back. Okay. Assad Ribic is the artist. There's so many Marvel tie-ins in this. It's wonderful how they did this. You have Yoshida Whaling Fleet. That's right to the Wolverine movie. I don't know if Yoshida was all along in Wolverine's history. I don't know that much, but you have Agent Coulson from the S.H.I.E.L.D. show. He's always chiming in throughout the entire title. You have, it's almost like Sea Shepherds and Whale Wars with the Yoshida Whaling Fleet. And one of them is Shinjin Harada, and that's Harada, Toyo Harada, is from Valiant Universe. So maybe Harada's like last name is Smith, but I find that interesting that they have the same name. And there's also a Dustin Hoffman reference. I will send your local comic book store one of my games that I made, Power, Packs of War, each rank. I will send that to you if you can tell me the reference of Dustin Hoffman in this. Again, what is this devil right here? He's not in here. I really want the covers to depict what the story is, because I have so many that you just saw. I want to be able to look at this and say, oh yeah, that's that issue when. There's no devil in there. So, again, Power, Packs of War, each rank. For cards or pieces with movement and range. I'll send it to you if you can tell me the Dustin Hoffman reference in Thor 19.now. Thank you for watching.